This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister to Imperium Chambers. Thank you for watching. Today, a short video, I'm shamelessly promoting the Right2Work Limited event coming up in Birmingham on the 27th of September. It's going to be held at All Saints Church, King's Heath, between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the evening. This promises to be a very informative and much needed meeting. To that extent, it's shown by those that are supporting it. Organisations ranging from the European Commission, Law Centre Networks, Right2Work themselves, Migration Work, through to Coventry Council, along with Imperium Solicitors and Imperium Chambers and Serifus Solicitors. The meeting will be split into two parts. The first part, which will be the Right2Work, which will cover both non-EU citizens and EU citizens. I'm honoured and pleased to have been asked to speak on this topic along with Ake from Right2Work, who does an awful lot of good work, and we'll discuss all aspects of the Right2Work and actually getting it implemented, enforced, because often the government give you a document that says you have the right to work, but employers don't take the documents, they want to see a BRP. Also, it will address issues if employers seek to determine or end the employment and what can be done. This will be the first part of the evening and will take place between 6 and 7. From 7 till 9, Serifus Solicitors will be considering what gives us the basis for the right to work, i.e. the right to residency for EU nationals and their families. Both of these areas are in a great deal of flux at the moment. It's been harder to secure employment, if you're a migrant, particularly as a migrant during the government's hostile environment, given the stricter rules, and even harder to have such rights as they are granted applied or enforced, especially due to the number of unfair dismissal cases that are coming to my attention. The right to residency promises to be an exceptionally hot topic, given that the government has now accepted it does not really know how many people are in the United Kingdom and from where they came from. Previously, the UK relied on the International Passenger Survey as a reliable tool, which meant interviewing the odd person that came through and asking what they were doing. But it turned out that that's no longer to be relied upon. Given that there's no entry and exit control, so you can't marry up who comes in and who goes out of the country, the government, quite frankly, hasn't got a clue and suspects that there are far more EU migrants than there were before. In my view, the issue to residency and the right to work are fundamental, not only to human dignity and to families, but also practically. If you can't live lawfully, you can't work lawfully in the United Kingdom, and that's obviously a huge issue. And these are some of the topics that will be discussed. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time that such a meeting has been held and that has been supported by such a wide cast of different groups and individuals. And personally, again, I feel passionately in favour of free movement, where the free movement leads to the expansion of the economy and the right of migrants to work. And find that while there may be some slight softening in the government's approach, which I'll cover in the next video, a lot more needs to be done before migrants are afforded a fair playing field, as with those that are naturalised or British or by birth. For example, I've had a client who was paid, who had Section 3C leave, so he's fully entitled to work as he did before, but he was being paid half the minimum wage by his employer, who was, not sure if he was fiddling the revenue, but he certainly was being paid half of it. And the judge actually noted during the hearing that he was in fact a slave. This is something, in my view, that the UK government ought to be ashamed about. Slavery was finally outlawed by the United Kingdom in or around 1834. That's over 170 years ago, and yet it still persists to this day. And in my view, that's just an abhorrent factor that there are slaves living amongst us, and that's an issue as far as can be addressed in respect of getting people's right to work enforced, and if they're dismissed, then them being able to seek redress through the courts. These are all issues that will be covered as far as they can be. I'll be speaking and I'll be taking some questions from people, and people are always welcome to question me. Well, that's pretty much enough for me in respect to promoting this event on the 27th. I would urge anyone who has either an immigration, work or residency stroke work or residency issue to attend if at all possible. It promises to be an entertaining evening. And I look forward to seeing you then and answering any questions if I can. If on the other hand, if you have an immigration or an immigration stroke employment problem, perhaps you've been sacked unfairly, or you consider you've been sacked unfairly because you do have leave of some type, then please do not hesitate to contact me, Paul Turner, at Imperium Chambers on 0207 242 3488, or at Clark's at Imperium Chambers, or at my site, the Immigration Barrister. This has been Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.